So when your child gets to the point where you want to start teaching them that we actually have several spellings usually for one sound, then a good place to start is with some spellings where they're very familiar. So I've chosen the spelling k. There are, three common ways of spelling that. There are a couple of others like the k, which is a ch in chemist, or charisma, or Christmas. But for now, I'm just going to concentrate on three ways of spelling it, which is the straightforward k that happens in cat, the k that happens in kit, like be kit, and the ck together, that's the k in words like duck. So you'd simply explain to them, I'm going to show you that there's actually more than one way we can spell the k sounds in words. So a good practice would be to get them to put the post-its in order, give them out of order, get them to put them in order, saying each sound as they do it, and then sounding out the whole word. So going k, a, t, cat. Now you want to point out this is how we spell k in that word. Then give them the other ones and say this is another word with the k sound. This is the word kit. And then again get them to construct the word, build the word, put the sounds together so they can sound it out, and they'll go k, I, t, kit. Brilliant. So look, we've got that way of spelling k and this way of spelling k. And I'm going to show you another way. This is another way to spell k in the word duck. And again, you try to get them to pull the sounds down. They won't go wrong because at the point that they're building it, it's at the end of the word. So that's the only sound left. And again, get them to put them in order and then say the sounds and blend them to get the word d, k, duck. And that's another way to spell the k sound. Now you might want to point out, and as you know, not big on rules at all, but you might want to point out a pattern that actually this is often the way we spell k at the end of a word, particularly at the end of a short word. But just explain to them this is a common one. Now, as I say, later we might teach them another way of doing k, but for now, that's a good way. Now we can do exactly the same thing when it comes, Blue Peter, one I made earlier, to teaching another sound, like one of the vowel sounds like O. So exactly the same again. As I say, get them to put the post-its in order to build the word and then go sh, O, show. And then they go on to the next word, s, o, so. Look, we've got two different ways now of spelling the O sound. Then we've got the word note, n, o, t, note. Now, some people want to teach that as a split spelling, in which case you'd have the O and try and have it as a half a size post-it, because it's not, there's not 5 sounds in note. There's only 3, whether you do the O as a split spelling or whether you do the consonant E at the end, which is a very, very common spelling in words. But either way, they go n, o, t, note, and then t, o, toe. Now, again, you could point out some patterns. You would certainly get them to write the words out so that they're practicing, and I would leave these available while they're writing, because you don't want them to be guessing. Because one of the ways they'll learn the different ways of spelling the same sound is by familiarity with those words. So you can have the words available. We don't want them to copy. We want them to say the sounds, sh, o. And you can say to them, do you remember how we write O in show? Yeah. And then do exactly the same the next day and probably the next day. And then maybe give them some words to read with these different O sounds in, or get them to do a bit of a sorting activity by reading the word, spotting how we're spelling the O in that word, and therefore, writing it down in the right column. So simple, we do it all the time. And again, really emphasize the fact that, look, we've got all these different ways of spelling O. It's one sound, but it can be spelled in different ways.